My name is Nicole. I'm a computer science student at UC Davis, and I'm from Long Beach, so I actually took shared science classes when I was an elementary and middle schooler. So it's super fun to have this coming full circle, and we're going to be doing Bitsy today. And Bitsy lets really anybody make a game. So you don't have to be super advanced in coding. You don't have to know anything about making games. You can do it completely from scratch. And I'm going to send you guys the link right now in the chat. And when you get that link, you can open it up in your web browser. I'm going to start screen sharing. All right. So when you get to Bitsy, it's going to look like this. And you're just going to see this tool that says run. You're going to press run. And you're going to see all of these little windows show up. So in Bitsy, every part of the design process is sort of in its own little window. And we can drag and drop these to move them around. We can click the X to make them disappear. And use the scroll bar on the bottom to go left and right if you have lots of windows open. Your windows may look a little bit different than mine right now, but we are going to fix that too. So if you go to the top right, there's a tools bar. And if you click on that, you can see all of these different options. And the ones that are highlighted in purple are the ones that you have open right now. So if you accidentally close something, you just have to go back up here and find it. Like maybe I'm going to open this tab again, and you'll see it pop up here on the end. But right now, we're going to close all of the tabs except for the 4 that I'm showing right here. So that's the one called Room, Colors, then we have Paint, and Dialogue. So let me know if you're having any problems getting to those. And also, if you guys have a question anytime, you can just unmute and ask. Are we good? Can we get like a thumbs up? All right. So in Bitsy, we're going to see right away, we have this thing in the Paint tab, and it's called the avatar. So the avatar is the character that you get to move around when you play your game. You can only have one avatar, and it has to be designed in this little tiny box of squares. And it's a default one right here, but we can design this to be any way we want. We can change it up. And to use this paint panel, you can just click on a square and that will change its color. So you can see there's only 2 colors, so clicking it again will turn it back. If I wanted to give this guy a little hat, I could go like this. And you can also see in the Room tab, all of the changes that you make to your avatar, you can see in the smaller version in the Room. So we've got these little tiny pixels. We can make them look however we want. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to design an avatar to look however you want. You can make it look like yourself. You can make it look like an animal. You can design something super abstract. But whatever it is, that's what you guys are going to play as. So at 3:39. And I'm going to do this with you guys. I think I'm going to draw myself a little turtle. And the reason the time is super short is because it doesn't matter if you don't like how it looks right away. Making a game is all about trying things again and again until you get it the way that you want it. And that's a process called iteration. And basically it means that when something messes up, you just try it again. Or if it doesn't turn out the way you think it should, you try it again, you keep trying again until you get it to where you want it to be. All right, are we ready to have our little avatars? We're all designed. You gonna get a thumbs up or a nod, either one. All right. So we can see our avatar over in the room panel, and if you click, he's gonna move to a new space. So wherever you put the avatar, that is where it's gonna start out when you run the game. But you also might see there's this little cat creature here, and the cat is not an avatar. It's actually a different kind of Bitsy object called a sprite. So if we go back to the paint tab and we click on the sprite, you're gonna see the cat there. So the cat's pre-made, and we wanna add our own sprite. So to do that, we're gonna press the plus button that's right underneath the word sprite, and you're gonna get this blank drawing. And it says Sprite B, so we're gonna rename that. We're gonna call it whatever type of sprite we're gonna make. So for now, I'll just call it My Sprite. And then we wanna pick something to draw here. So maybe it could be as simple as a flower, something like this, maybe. Or it could be really complex. The most important thing to remember about sprites in Bitsy is that just like your avatar, you can only have one sprite. However, you can put that, you can only have one sprite, one copy of your sprite in the whole game. So this cat is only going to show up in this room. This flower will only show up wherever I place it. But you can make as many different sprites as you want. And sprites are special because when your character walks up to them in Bitsy, the sprites can have dialogue or they can have some kind of action. And you can tell that you can do actions with them because in your game window, they're white. They're this special color that we've chosen. And the things you can't interact with are this lighter color. So for this one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick anything we want to design as our sprite. So we have a cat already, and in my case, I have a turtle for the avatar, but you can make it whatever you want. I'm gonna design, let's see, how about a dog? We have a cat, so I'm gonna do a dog. What you do is up to you. This is also gonna be 2 minutes. So at 3:43, we'll be done drawing our sprites. All right, how's the progress on our sprites? What have we designed? You can unmute yourself or you can write it in the chat. Oh, you made a turtle for your sprite? All right, I like it. Alessandra, what did you make?
I made a turtle.
You also made a turtle?
That was,
Oh,
I said
sorry,
turtle.
I read the wrong name. You made the turtle. Christopher made the robot. Okay, perfect. I like the idea of a robot. And what did you guys do for your avatars?
I made a cat.
You made a second cat to go with the cat that's already on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Christopher, what's your avatar look like? Is it a person, an animal?
I just made a person.
Okay. So we got a person and a robot. That's going to make an interesting game. And then also a cat and a turtle. All right. Well, now that we have our sprite design, I'm going to rename it since I know it's a dog now. And I'm also going to want to place this sprite in the room. So to do that, I'm just going to make sure that the dog is the one that's active on the paint tag right now. And then I'm going to click wherever I want it to be in the room. And just like that, it shows up. And since we can only have one copy, when I click again, it moves to the new spot. I'm going to put the cat and the dog kind of close to each other. You can do whatever you want. So like I mentioned before, we have this third kind of block all around the edges of our room, and it's a different color than our sprite and our avatar. And that's because it's a tile. So in the paint tab, there is a spot for tiles. It's right next to sprite. And if you click on it, we're going to see this design that we already have that's called block. And when we're active on block, we can actually place down more of these. So maybe I want to put some levels here. I want to make it more of like a maze type design. We can place these tiles wherever we want. And we can use them as many times as we want. So unlike the sprites and the avatars, you can place unlimited tiles anywhere you want. And we have these little walls right now, but what about some scenery? Let's add some landscape. So I'm going to click the plus to add another tile, and I'm going to call this grass. I'm going to design some grass right now. And to do that, I'm just going to draw some little squigglies. It's going to be some pretty abstract grass. And now when I go to click it into my room, you can see we sort of have these bushy looking things going on. So you also might notice on my design, I'm not making multiple kinds of grass every time I put it down. So I want it to sort of go together uniformly. That's called a multi-tile drawing, when you use either more than one kind of tile or the same repeating tile to make a bigger design. So to make my grass kind of go together better, I'm going to change this block over here so that both sides are only 2 blocks tall. And you can see now my grass looks a little bit more connected. And maybe I don't like how the top is looking, so I change a little bit of that too. Completely up to you.
Wait, when we're like placing the blocks, how do we like make another block without it changing the other blocks?
So you want to make a new type of block?
Yes, like, because when I change something on the tile, it changes all the other tiles on the room.
Yeah, so that's because this singular block tile is just repeated everywhere. So if you want a different design, you have to click the plus button to make a second type of block, just like you have to create a second type of sprite.
Okay.
All right, so I've got some grass, and maybe I'll add even another type of tile, something else to the background. What else can we put in this room? Are there any suggestions? Some sort of background object or repeating pattern? Any ideas? All right, I'm thinking maybe we could add some water, or maybe we can do a really simple multi-tile drawing. So let's say I want to make a tree. I could design it like this, right? I could make a tree that takes up only 1 block. It's a little Christmas tree going on here. And I could stick it down right here, but my tree is kind of small, you know, it's the same size as my avatar and my grass, and that doesn't really seem to be what I want. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to call this block tree stump. And it's only going to be this straight up and down part. And then I'm going to make a second tile, and I'm going to call this tree top. And I know that my stump comes from right here, so now I'm going to design my leaves to take up all of this extra space, just like this. So now you can see my tree stump block is still on the room, and it just looks like a rectangle. But if I add the tree top, suddenly it looks like a much taller tree, right? So that's a really easy way of making a multi-tile drawing, is to sort of split what you want to design into two parts and then think about how they're going to go together. Now you could do it horizontal, you could do it vertical, and you could make multi-tile drawings that are way bigger than this. And if you did do that, one really helpful tab in Bitsy is this one called Fine Drawing. So if we open the Fine Drawing tab, you're going to see that it shows me all of my different kinds of tiles all in one window. So I can see my tree stump and my tree top really easily, just at a glance. I can also see my grass and my block, but that's a little bit less helpful since we know that those only take up one tile to make one object. So let's do 2 minutes to design some background tiles, whether that's grass or water or trees or anything you want. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. And I am going to work on making my tree look good. All right, what did you guys make as your different background blocks? You seem very focused, but I want to keep the time short because it doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay. I did tree blocks, and I changed the blocks from the background.
Okay, You made the this one, the square block, look different? It's a great idea. What did you do, Alessandro?
Trying to make a really big tree.
You're trying to make a really big tree? Yeah, you can see what I did is I made this middle piece of my tree reusable so I could stack it up as far as I want. All the way I could make this tree really, really tall and then stick this little block on top of it. You just got to make something that is repeatable and easy for you to use. Because if I try and repeat the stump, right now that's a bad design, right? Because I have these two little pieces that are hanging off and those don't look quite right. But that would be a different design problem. So if we go back to the block, the very first one that Bitsy designed for us, you might notice there's this button underneath it that says wall. And what happens if we turn this on by clicking on it is that our avatar can no longer walk through the wall blocks. So if I made my trees walls, my avatar wouldn't be able to walk through the trees. If I made the grass walls, the avatar wouldn't be able to walk through the grass. And right now it's just this block that's a wall. So he's stuck inside this sort of cube that we've created. And there's only one way for us to know that this really works, right? And that's for us to test our game. So we are going to start doing that. And to do so, you're just going to start by pressing the play button in the top of the room panel. Now we're going to notice some things while we're testing out our game, and the first one is that there's this box and it says write your game's title here. So maybe that's something that we can come back to later. You know, we probably want to change that. We want our game to have a title. So I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to use the arrow keys to move my avatar around. And you'll see that I can't move to the left any further because of these blocks, but I can move through my tree, just not through this wall. I can walk up and down the tree, can have this turtle climb a tree. He can walk all around. He can go through the grass, but not through these blocks that we have marked as walls. Now, can someone try walking up to the cat? What happens when you walk up to the cat and then you press the arrow that that makes you try and go forward into the cat? Anybody know what happens? All right, I'm going to demonstrate. So when I go up to the cat says, I am a cat. And you can actually see over in our dialogue panel, it says cat dialogue, I am a cat. And now that's definitely pretty interesting. I wonder what happens when we walk up to the dog. It's nothing, right? Because we don't have any dog dialogue. We haven't done anything to the dog. This dialogue just came with the cat. So that might be something we want to work on later too. All of these sprites, we got our wall blocks, we got our not wall background blocks, climbing trees, doing anything we want to. So once we're done testing our game, we're going to make sure to press the stop button up here. And now we can start thinking about what we wanted to fix, which again is the process of iteration, the process of testing our game. So the first thing was that our game didn't have a title, right? So to change that, we're going to go right up to the very top of Bitsy and we're going to write our game's title here. So I'm not that creative. I'm going to call this, you know, shared science game. But you might want to call it based on your name, or maybe you have a certain idea in mind. And you'll notice that now if I press play again, instead of saying write your game's title here, it says what I put in the title bar. And everything else is still the same as last time. So I'll press stop again. Did you guys come up with some cool titles for your games?
Mine is Animal Christmas.
Animal Christmas?
Tried to
Okay.
make a big Christmas tree.
Definitely in the holiday spirit. What about Christopher? You have a special name for your game?
No.
No? That's okay. All right. So we noticed that we can walk through blocks that aren't walls and blocks that are walls we can't go through. We also saw that the cat has dialogue. So if I go back to the sprite tab and I see the cat, I can also see the dialogue for it right underneath here. So when you want to change dialogue, you can either do it directly on the sprite that you want to change, or you can go to the dialogue tab and you can see it says cat dialogue here. I can also press this arrow. It says T dialogue. That's a built-in item we haven't used, and the key. And then we have the title. So there's no other dialogues we've created. So I'm going to go to the dog sprite and I'm going to make the dog say something. So in Bitsy, there's not a lot of ways for you to communicate what's going on in the game, right? You know, it's not, we don't have any audio. All we have is pictures and talking. So how do we tell our story or what we want our game to be about through just those two things that we have, the art and the talking? So one way that we can do that is we can be really specific about what we have our creatures say. So if this was an adventure game, I might have the dog give the player a hint about where to go. You know, maybe there's a hidden door somewhere and the dog says, you know, like, see what happens if you go left. Or maybe I want the player to feel scared, and so the dog doesn't say anything, but it has sort of like a written action. It says like, the dog is trembling in fear. You know, that makes the player know that something scary is nearby. There's something that they should be aware of. Or if I wanted the game to be really peaceful, I could have something happen. It could say, you know, you pet the dog and the dog licks your face. You know, like you get a very friendly vibe. You know that this is a character you want to keep talking to, or you're going in the right direction. So we're going to use our dialogue to convey some kind of message. And in this case, I'm going to use this dog to say that there's a secret passage. So I'm gonna say the dog tells you that there is a secret to the right. And I don't actually have that secret yet, but I know I'm gonna put it there eventually. So I'm gonna test my game, and I'm gonna see that now when I walk up to the dog is telling me there is a secret to the right. And my character is gonna wanna keep going right. I mean, there's nothing there yet, but there will be eventually. So, regardless of what sprite you've created, flip to it in the sprite tab, and then let's add some cool dialogue. So something, Alessandra's making a Christmas game, maybe the dog or the turtle has something really festive to say. Maybe it tells you Merry Christmas. Maybe it tells you where the North Pole is. That is up to you. Christopher, I know you have a robot sprite. Maybe the robot only speaks in binary or only speaks in beeps. So you can't understand what it's saying, but it's a secret message if you decode it. And give you 1 minute to write your dialogue. All right, I think it's almost been a minute. How are we doing? Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so let's test our games. Let's make sure that the text is showing up how we want it to. I can see mine's having the dog tell me something. Christopher, what did you have your robot say?
No, I didn't write anything. I don't know what to write.
You didn't know what to write? Okay, well, try putting just any characters there right now so that you can sort of see what happens when you go up to talk to it, even if you don't know what you want it to say in the end.
I kind of want to add a secret to my game. So I made the turtle say 1 step right, then up. Maybe something will happen.
Okay, that's pretty good. 1 step right, then up. That will definitely make people intrigued. So now that we have some dialogue, there's actually some really cool things you can make the dialogue do, but you can only do them in the dialogue tab. So I'm going to go over here to the dialogue window, and I'm going to press the arrow until I find the one called dog dialogue, because my avatar or my sprite is called the dog. Your sprite is probably called something different, so you're going to want to keep flipping until you find the correct one. And it's going to match in this box what it says in this box. And you'll notice when I click on it, there's all these things that say text effects. So color 1, color 2, color 3, wavy, shaky, and rainbow. And what these are referring to, so color 1 is your background color, color 2 is your tile color, and color 3 is your sprite color, which you can see in the colors tab. So maybe I want the word dog to be in white. So I'm gonna highlight the word that I wanna change, and I'm gonna press color 3. And you're gonna see these little braces show up. And that's because when Bitsy is running your game, it's compiling this dialogue in code, and so this tag is telling it what to change and where to change it. And maybe I want the word secret to be kind of wavy, so I'm going to highlight the word secret, and I'm going to press wavy, and you're going to see these special WVY tag and this other WVY tag to close it off. So you can add these tags yourself, or you can highlight and press the button. It's up to you, whatever is going to be quickest. And you're going to notice what happens now when I go to play my game. Now the title is normal, right? Just like usual. But when I go up to the dog and I talk to it, you can see that the word secret is waving, and the word dog is white, but so is the rest of the text because white is the default. So I'm going to go back over to my dialogue. I'm going to stop testing, go back to my dialogue, and I'm going to actually pick a different color. So to do that, I'm going to need to delete the tags that I put there in the first place. And I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to press color 2 instead of color 3. And now when I test my game, it's going to be a little bit different. Yep, and there you go. You can see that the word dog is a different color, and that the word secret is wavy. So it's just the process of game design that sometimes things aren't going to work out how you expect them to, or you're going to have to keep trying, or you might take a while to figure something out. That's completely normal, and that's just how game design works. You know, it takes a little bit, and you don't have to be a perfectionist. You just have to keep trying. So do we have any cool text effects people are interested in adding to their games?
I added wavy and shaky.
You added wavy and shaky? Maybe it's a spooky secret, huh? Did you try out anything, Christopher?
No.
No? Okay. Well, this is recorded, so you can always come back and look at it again later if you forget how to do it or you want to try it on your own time. But, all right. So I have mentioned that there's going to be a secret in my room, but I haven't actually added that secret. And I also don't have any other levels in my game. So I'm going to close this dialogue tab because I don't need it right now. And I'm going to go to the tools bar, which if yours is collapsed, you can just press this tools button to show it back up. And I'm going to click exits and endings. And we're gonna see this new window show up right here. And it says there's no exits and there are no endings in this room. And we can see that. The only things that we've put in this room are an avatar, 2 sprites, and some tiles. Nothing else is here. And we don't even have a second level to go to. So I'm gonna rename this one that we have right now. I'm gonna rename it level 1. And then I'm gonna click the plus button and you're gonna see this completely blank screen. I'm gonna rename that level 2. So now at least we have 2 levels to switch between, but how are we going to make that happen? And that secret is the exits and endings. So in the exits and endings tab, we're gonna click the plus and we want to add an exit. So the word exit means that it's gonna go both ways. If you can use it to enter one room, then you can use it to also leave the room that you just got into. Whereas in a one-way exit, once you walk through it, you can't go back. So that's what the difference is between those two. For example, if I wanted to make it so that in my game you could only ever go forward, I would use one-way exits. But if I want people to be able to go back to previous rooms and look for things, then I would make it a two-way exit. And then an ending is going to end your game. So we're not going to add any of those right now. I'm going to just add an exit. And you're going to see that this square block shows up in my room and it has a double-sided arrow on it. So in Bitsy, the exit blocks are invisible. We can see this black and white box right now, but when you press play on your game, which I can show you right here, nothing comes up, right? It's not obvious that there's an exit there. And so that's why it's really easy to make exits secret. And if you want people to know where they are, then you have to design a tile to go around or near it so that people will know to walk towards that tile, and then you can place it on top. And that way they'll walk through the exit. So in my case, I said that there was a secret to the right. So I'm gonna place this exit to the right of the dog, sort of in this corner. And you can see on the exits and ending tab on the right, there's this white square showing where I placed the exit. And if I click on this second room, you're gonna see that the exit is here as well. There's nothing else in this room right now, but I'm gonna move the exit to the left. And in order to make it so that my game has a continuous feel, I'm gonna line it up so that the white square in the room 1 and the white square in room 2 are continuous. So that means when I walk through this door on the right, spatially it's gonna make sense where I come out in this room. And I'm gonna come out on the left side of the room because I walked out of the right side. Because, say you walked out of your bedroom and normally there's a hallway, but instead you ended up in the kitchen. That would feel really strange to you, right? And sometimes you might want that in your game. You might want it to feel like you've been teleported somewhere or that the world is wiggly and changing, but this isn't always the case. So I'm gonna try and make mine line up so that it feels continuous to know where I'm going. And in my level 2 room, I'm gonna add some tiles. I'm gonna add a floor right here. So we know he's gonna come out right here no matter what. And then maybe this is sort of like a bridge. Add some things there. I'm gonna go back to my grass that I designed. Whoops, accidentally deleted a block. My grass. And I also have trees. So I can add a tree as well. So now it looks like there's a little bit going on in this level. And if I go back to room 1, we can see this. So let's test our exit. I'm gonna press play. And I'm gonna remember that I still can't go through walls. So I'm gonna walk up and I'm gonna talk to the dog. And the dog tells me that there is a secret. So I'm gonna go to the right. I don't know how far I have to go to the right, but once I hit that block, you can see that the room changes. And if I click the left from in this room, right now I'm not on the exit, like everywhere I'm walking around, it's not there, not here. But if I walk back towards the left, oh, I'm in the room again. And you can see that you come out exactly on the block, but you have to kind of walk back over it for it to switch. Just like that, and I can keep walking on my ground. I can't go down because I made these walls, but I can go back. Now, if you didn't want this to be a secret, there's a super easy way to fix that. We would just go here to our tiles. We're going to add a new one, and we're going to call it portal or door, up to you. I'm just going to design it as a little swirly type deal. It's going to look kind of like this. And I am going to place that right here. And you can't see that I clicked on it because my exit block is there. So I'm going to place the portal. You can see it sort of like that. And then on my exits and endings, I'm going to drag the exit right on top of that portal. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the other room. So I know that the exit I want to be right there. So I'm going to place the portal, drag the exit back on top. And now when I play my game, it's not a secret anymore. There's a portal right here that I know I need to walk through. And that takes me to the next room. And you can see it's right here as well. So if I go through it, go back to the other room, and it takes me to all these different places. All right. Now you also may have noticed that our second room is exactly the same color as our first room. But we have this fancy color palette right here, and we don't actually have to keep using the same colors in every room. So you can only have 3 colors per room, but in each room, those colors can change. So right now I have a color palette called Blueprint, and that's the default one. I'm gonna click plus, and it's gonna auto-generate this one for me. I don't like it that much, so I'm gonna change my background color. Maybe I want it to be a little bit pink, and my tiles are gonna be darker this time instead of lighter, and my sprite is gonna be this pale color. And you can see nothing in my second room has actually changed yet, and that's because I have to go down here in the room panel and pick the correct color palette, which in this case, it's called palette 1 here. So I would select this, and you can see that all of my colors change. And you can also see in the exits and endings tab that the first room is still blue. And in this case, it seems like I didn't pick colors that are different enough from each other. So it's a little hard to tell. But if I play my game, we can walk through the portal, and we are in a brand new room. It's completely different colors. And I think my sprite color was a little off on that one too, so I'm going to try it again. That is the process. There we go. Now I think my sprite is more similar to the color it originally was, but I think that works better. And just like with dialogue, we can use the color to convey what we want to say about our story, right? So if your game is really spooky, you probably wouldn't want to use the bright colors like I used in this room, right? That doesn't make the user think it's spooky. It just makes it think that there's fun. Maybe they're on like a cotton candy world, everything's great. And in the first room, everything's really neutral. It's not really giving me a specific feel. Maybe it's like under the ocean if we want to go that far. But I know, let's say, Alessandro, you're making a Christmas game. Maybe some of the rooms are more festive, or maybe you want to convey that it's snowing, so you use blue. I know Christopher has a robot in his game. If you're making it really techy, then maybe there's like green for circuits, or you want to convey that like something about the robot's personality, so the room color reflects that. It's completely up to you, but color can be really effective at showing you different things about your game and helping you tell your story. And if you don't like the colors for the first room either, all you got to do is go back to the blueprints and then pick a different background tile and sprite color. And you can add as many blueprints or as many color palettes as you like, but remember that you can only use one set of them per room. So you'd have to add more rooms to use more colors. Do we have any questions about the exits or any questions about the colors or the portal? Are we all good? All right. Well, since we are getting close to the end, I want to make sure you know how to save your game, because when you're editing in Bitsy, it only saves on your specific computer. And if somebody closes the tab, or if you use a different computer later, you won't be able to save your game. You won't be able to see all of the progress that you've done. So to save a game in Bitsy, we're going to go to the tools bar and you're going to find this button called download. So when I press download, this new window shows up right here. I'm going to move it to the center so you can see. And you're going to want to press download game. So when I press that, I don't think it's showing you on my screen because I only shared a window, but your save window will pop up. So it looks a little bit different depending on whether you're on Mac or Windows, but you're going to pick where to save it, and then you're going to press save. And it's saved as an HTML file. And HTML is a type of language that's used on the web. And in this case, they're using it to make games. It's a coding language. So you can download your game and save it. So let's make sure to do that right now. Download a copy of your game and let me know when you're done. Make sure you save it to somewhere you're going to remember and not just a random place on your computer where you can't find it. And give me a thumbs up when you're good to go. All right, I've got one.
I'm still making my game.
Okay, well, save it right now anyways, because you can keep working on it later, but I want to make sure you know how to save.
How do I do that?
So you're going to go back to the tools bar and open the download window. And then in the download window, which is this little one right now that I'm wiggling, you're going to press download game.
Download game. It's downloading it to Chrome. Oh, so now I have it in my Gmail. That's cool. It just opens.
You didn't get a window to save it?
No, it's downloading to Chrome.
Okay, so that
but
means
I'm on Windows.
Yeah, so it probably went directly to your downloads folder. So if you open the File Explorer, you should see it there.
Where's File Explorer?
It's the little icon that looks like a folder in the bottom of your computer.
I don't see no folder on my computer. Google Apps. Oh, I know where I have it. It's probably in. No, where is it? Drive.
Okay, so when you download your game, if you're using a public computer, like a computer at a library or a computer at Shared Science, you're going to want to make sure you email that downloaded file to yourself, which is why you got to know where it is. And then also when you want to start working on your game again, in this same download window, you're going to press upload game and you're going to select the file of the game that you saved. And that way you can keep working on it anywhere, any computer, but you have to make sure to email it to yourself or put it on a flash drive or put it in Google Drive. All of those solutions work. So I'm going to close the download window for right now.
Wait, can I grab my mom to help me with this? Because my mom uses
absolutely.
computers a lot. Mom,
Can you come help me download a game on my computer that I made?
really
and if you're curious about what the code part of your game looks like, there's this game data tab. You can kind of see some of what it's generated.
Download game. I click this.
Okay.
Yeah, Christopher, what's your question?
Allow.
But when it goes through Chrome,
How do you delete
So
one of
click that up.
How do you delete what?
the exits?
Delete the exits. So to delete it, I'm going to see in this exit tab that it's called exit 1 out of 1.
Oh, it
and I'm
goes
gonna
to
press
that
the trash.
PC.
And it's going to ask me in the top of my window if I definitely want to delete it.
There now.
I don't, so I'm going to click cancel, but you're going to click OK.
Awesome.
Wait, let me make a different one. I need to finish my game.
Okay.
Okay, I know it's in my folder. I just need to finish my game and then download. I'm gonna have 3 copies of it. The one that's the second room is like just blank. the third one where the room has a little bit of stuff, and then the final one with like all the stuff.
There you go. Yeah, definitely want to save multiple times so that you can always go back. But yeah, so as I mentioned briefly, if you wanted to see what the code behind your game kind of looks like, you can click on this game data tab. You're not going to want to edit anything here yourself because it's much easier to just do it through the windows that are provided. But you can sort of see in my room, this is all of the background. In my second room, we have some details about the block and how it's drawn. All of these different things that it's using, and you can see the dialogues are here with the little tags. So, and like I said before, to play the game or to fix the game that you downloaded, you're going to go to the same tab and you're going to click upload instead, and you're going to put the file that you saved there. But in the last 5 minutes, I wanted to see sort of what you guys are making. If you want to share your screen or tell me about it or tell me what your vision for the future of it is. Obviously, it's not going to be very far along right now, but yeah, Alessandra, go ahead.
Okay, can I share my screen?
Yeah, here, let me stop sharing mine.
Okay, let's see. Share screen. Share.
Oh, cool. We got some teal going on, teal and white.
No, two. Okay, there we go. Now I press play.
Mm-hmm. Animal Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, got neon green sprites.
Oh God, it's not working. Where's
Well,
my
you can
exit?
see in your exits and endings tab, I think your exit is actually in the bottom right corner.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I put it at the house. Wait, let me just delete this. Okay, yep, that turtle. that actually might be good because it like tricks them.
Yeah, but just know that if you make changes while your game is still running, where and you haven't pressed stop, they're
It
not going to
won't
be
save.
saved.
Yeah, I did it and then it didn't save. I'm like, what happened? What happened to my game? Wee. These houses do nothing.
That's all right.
Wee.
They're decoy houses.
Decoy. Now I can go back.
Perfect. It looks great. I like the colors. I like your little character designs.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
All right. Christopher, do you want to share your game? It's okay if you don't.
No, okay.
You don't want to? All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. Did you guys have any other questions? Nothing? All right. Well, there is definitely a lot more you can do with Bitsy. We didn't talk about items or animations or things like that. If you want to do more with those, there are tons of resources online. You can just Google how to do them. And there's a lot of tutorials that are made by people who are interested in Bitsy. And you can just do follow along with those and make some expansions to your game. But yeah, there's a lot you can do. And you know, it is Computer Science Week and we have done our hour of code. I hope you have enjoyed it.
I have.
All right, that's good to hear.
I'm gonna play my game.
Have like 2 minutes. So you know what? I'm gonna show you really fast. I'm gonna show you how to make an animation. So So I'm going to show you, I'm going to go to my sprites and I'm going to animate the cat. To do that, I'm going to press this animation button and you're going to see that the zoom buttons are getting in my way. There we go. Okay, so you can see it says frame 1 and frame 2. So in frame 1, this is just the one that we already have. And if I click on frame 2 right now, nothing's different. But if I go to frame 2 and I now edit this, you're going to see how it's sort of grayed out. That's what it looks like in frame 1. So it kind of gives you a point of reference. I'm going to make the cat curl its tail. And you can see in the preview, this is what the animation is doing. And you can also see in the room, my cat's tail is animated. So that's just a little fun thing you can add to any of your avatar, your sprites. You can even animate your tiles. And then just make sure that you save. And yeah, there we go. I'm gonna allow download game. There we go. All right, thank you so much, guys.